would you trust me if I looked like this? Would you? Like, I've just been back from the police station, so it's just getting me into practice for when I get into the court cases with the people who want to bring me up for supposed slander. So I'm just getting into it now. I've just been to the police station, and yeah, basically the law is so warped that I asked them at the end of the situation, I said, what about the situation with my keys? She's still got my keys. This old flatmate of mine. So is she allowed to come into my apartment, with the keys? And the policeman says to me, I don't know about that. That's got nothing to do with the police. That's got to do with the lease of the apartment to the renters. Imagine that. And I said to him, oh God, that's the funny thing, isn't it? That's the worst thing, that the system is just not connected enough. It is amazing, isn't it, how the I'm going to just get off this camera setting. Isn't it amazing how the system isn't connected? The police can help you out in a lot of things, but then when other things happen, like say if you get threatened for your life, they can't do anything. It's only if you get actually touched, physically harmed, that they can do something. So our system in the law is really flawed. Now my flatmate just left now, actually. She's totally gone now. She left the keys, and that's great. But before leaving, she came today in the morning, 12 o'clock, 2 hours ago, and said to me that she's just said to me, like, have you got my phone? My phone's not here. She didn't even ask me, have you got my phone? She said, my phone's not here, so where is it? And I was like, oh my God, I don't have your phone. Why would I take your phone to have crap with you? You could just be gone and I'd take your phone. Why would I do that? So she's convinced that I stole her phone. I don't steal things, in general. I've had to say in another video. But I've just come back from the police station, and basically before I went in I was thinking, they asked me for my identification, and in Germany they need your card that says where you live and whatever, and I don't have that. I've just got my passport. And so they were he said, have you not signed into the city? And I said no, and so he went off then with my passport, and you got to answer the right questions the right way, and but I don't lie, you see, that's the point. So I always, as they say in Deutschland, I'm ehrlich, I'm totally truthful. And so I was a bit freaking out, because that was the only thing I was freaking out on, like, am I going to get in trouble for not signing on? And but you see, my grandmother and my father and all my family have always been a bunch of truthful people, and the truth wins. Now they might send me a letter in the future, but I highly doubt it. I'm just getting over it now. I'm only back. I'm only doing this vlogs, the energy after being to the police station. I mean, I did my best to give them every good bit of truthful information, not every single truth, because if you do that, he even stopped me, the policeman stopped me just to because he realised how truthful I was. I was going into the whole ins and outs of European system requirements and everything like that, and he just stopped me and said, okay, so all I need from you is whether you took the handy or not, the phone. And I said to him, no, I didn't take the handy, I didn't take the phone. And so he smiled with me, he totally trusted me. This is the fact, because I do tell the truth, and police people and detectives know what a liar is. They know from their body language, they know from all sorts of things. They know from the tone of voice, they know from the eyes, the whatever. And I'm just me, I'm just me, and I tell the truth always. And I risked putting my my residential status on the line here, up for questioning, for this bullshit of this woman thinking that I stole her phone. But you see, the truth is, I told them straight out. They said, well, why haven't you signed on? I said, because I get money under the table. I get paid with money under the table, like black money, isn't written down on paper always. I can't prove that to the office. So people who support peace and party and being so truthful know this, that this is one thing that I have been scared of for my whole existence here, because I even told the police guy, for the last few years I have been waiting for a knock at the door from the police, waiting for them to ask me questions, worrying of police coming and saying, hey, what are you doing here? Are you illegal here, whatever? And I would say, no, I'm not illegal, I'm from Europe, we are Europe, and you're allowed in Europe, in the European states, to travel anywhere you want, live and work anywhere you want within the European Union. Now, I do live in the European Union, and I also technically work, but I don't actually work, because my work is playing music. And also I'm recently doing a kindergarten job as well, but I'm not getting paid for that. So there again, more examples. And I don't get the unemployment money. I'm not on that. I don't want that. I want to be self-sufficient and self-employed and struggle as my artist self through life, but always being truthful, as much as you can. But of course, everybody knows out there you can't be totally truthful when it comes to government, law, police, and all that sort of stuff in general. But today I could be totally honest and tell them exactly about the phone and tell them about my residential status. And he handed me back my passport, and I said, will there be anything further or whatever? It was a very nice, relaxed conversation. You see, I'm a natural charmer, but I don't charm in a bullshit way. I charm in a real way, and I would absolutely try and encourage everybody to be like that. Because I've just gone through the law. I've gone through the law and I won. I've gone through the law and I won.